backscatter from the system is sometimes useful when you end up making a mosaic. You gotta work on it to actually make a decent picture. But I just wanted to see if it came in okay. Okay, so we have the soundings. We want to make a plotting sheet. You know, we have to go back a little bit. In terms of the editors, we have that line editor where you can draw the lines and make offset lines, and the matrix editor if you wanted to fill in the data. The last one, the other one is a plotting sheet editor. But just to give a quick example of the other editors, a line editor. A lot of times everything is cursor driven. If I select the cursor, it hides itself down there, and left click and make a line. I can bring it back up, come to my offsets, and say 5 lines to the left at 400 meters line spacing. And that's how easy it is to make lines. So it's useful for the acquisition. We're doing one step in HiPAC, or in MBMac. Going to phase 3, we always said auto size the data. But there's also another way to fill in a certain area in the matrix. This was our data set a couple minutes ago. I select a matrix file and move it anywhere I want. One corner moves it, another one sizes out and in, one goes smaller, and there's a rotation. If I was only interested in the entire data set, this one section, I can make a matrix of just that one area. Notice it says cell length and width. I can define a 1x1 or a 2x2, save it. And then in phase 3 of MBMac say, don't auto size the data, don't use all the data. Just populate inside this matrix file. So it's just one of the editors to use. But once we know how to make the editors, the plotting sheet editor,
Please.
The plotting sheet editor is the same thing. It's going to be a square. We have the 4 corners. One moves it, one rotates it, one sizes it. So in the editor, plotting sheet editor. Here's my plotting sheet. Now, a couple things for the plotting sheet. Typically, you're going to have a title bar on the bottom, depending on what the output is. You also have, a border, some kind of border. So you don't want to squish it down too small, just to narrow in on the data, because you're going to run out of room eventually. You probably don't want to do something like that, because there's no other place to put stuff. So you always want to have a little bit extra. But in the plotting sheet editor, there's some predefined sheets. Now we have a width and a height, and we also have a scale. And they're going to go against each other. If you want to keep the scale the same, then as you bring the length in, the width goes down. Or if scale is irrelevant, you just want a certain size, your scale's going to change. So if I say sizing and scale, and I move one in, one corner in, the other corner goes out. But notice that my scale is going to be changing all the time. 22,500. If I move it in, it's 10,000. So I don't care about the scale. The scale is irrelevant. The other one is if I put in 15,000, 1 to 15,000, and say sizing would be width and height, 15,000. Notice the scale's not changing. Well, the problem with that is my sheet size is changing. So then we have these predefined sheet sizes that we want. Predefined, we can do like an A4. Depending on what plotting sheet you have. So an A4, reserve the 15,000, has the length and the width, and then we can just put it anywhere we want. As soon as I start moving corner in, the width is the size is different, not an A4 anymore. So if we want to predefine, there's a whole lot of different predefined. A can be an A4. We'll keep it that way. Lastly, we can rotate it if I want. I'm still preserving the scale and the size, I'm just rotating. Depending on if you're going through a river and it's going north and south instead of east and west, you might want to rotate your charting sheet. But the big thing is, where do you put it? Well, you could put it something like that. You have plenty of room for the title block and the scale bar and the compass rows. So it's nothing perfect, but when we get into high plot, once we define an area and we put in all these other sections, we can define that as a template. So the next time we go into plotting sheet editor, everything is set, all we have to do is dump in the data. So I'm just going to leave it in the middle. Maybe I'll leave it a little bit down towards the bottom because I'm going to put my stuff on the left-hand side and the right-hand side and not too much on top. Save as plot 2. Now I already have a plot 1, which is why I'm adding a plot 2. High plot is smart that if it opens up and it only sees one plotting sheet, it's not going to ask you the name of a plotting sheet. Now I have a second plotting sheet, so it's going to say, which one do you want to choose? High plot, an icon all by itself. It's a standalone program. So it's going to launch something called HighPlot.exe. What's turned on in the shell is going to get turned on in HighPlot. You can turn on and off once we get into HighPlot. But if you like the data, what it looks like, maybe I'll put my soundings. Soundings on, contours on, a little bit of side scan. Once I like this, I'm going to launch HighPlot. Going to say which plotting sheet do I want? I'm going to start fresh, plot number 2. You can see the soundings, the contours. It looks like HighPack. It has all this information. If I don't want to see my right data, I can just right-click, save it. Right-click, with the side scan. It's a background file. Side scan, right-click, enable it, disable it. So the soundings look on top of each other, but by the time we plot it out, they might actually not touch each other. This was a plotting sheet I did. Notice by the time he plots it out on an A4, the soundings are far enough apart. I tried to measure the soundings. And I put a little scale bar on the bottom. Because we wanted to have 1 millimeter or 15 meter for each text. Well, there's 50 meters. So this is 50. So 3 characters is 50. So it's about 14 or 16 meters per value. So a font size of 6 does a decent job. There's no way that I know, and I tried last night, to say, okay, here's my scale sheet, automatically define the text type. Fortunately, there's a program called Cross Sort, but it's single beam editor. Sounding size millimeter, what's my plotting sheet, and it automatically puts the soundings in. But that only works with single beam data or edited files. So we don't have that advantage. So the only way to do it is really to come up with a plotting sheet, print it out, measure the height on that A4 sheet. And if it's right, we're going to keep it. If it's not, F9, same thing, soundings, font. I was using 6. And that's my 6. So it's we might have to try it once or twice, but once it's set up on top it says save template. So it saves all these settings. So the first time out, it's a little bit of questionable work. There's a data line that something was going on that's not perfectly clean. But again, this is a sample data set. All right, so one. Smooth sheets. Quickly through the presentation. What you see is what you get. So when you put a compass rose on, I can put it here and just drag it any way I want. Notice there's a title block over there, background charts and data. The output could be send it right to the printer, save it to a PDF, save it to a TIFF file, or even save a DXF file. A DXF, you're not going to save the background files, but you can save contours and soundings as a DXF file, and we'll do that. I usually use the icon in the final product as a drop-down high plot. It looks like HiPack. The big one is going to be the hammer and the screwdriver, the F9 toolbar. That's going to be used a lot. Saves the position of everything, so you don't have to redo it. Load allows you to read a plotting template, which basically includes title block, compass rose, all the little background files. You don't have to keep redesigning the same plotting sheet, so that's new. So once you come up with a standard, it's a pretty good way of doing it. We don't have little squares, we have to right-click, enable, disable. So you can inherit the information from HiPack, but you can always add or remove stuff as needed. When you go into the control panel, F9, you have all these information. Yeah. You can turn it on, and then you actually have to say plot, which is kind of redundant, but we'll see what happens. Okay, the first thing I want to do is there's my plotting sheet. And I'm not worried about the soundings because by the time I plot it out, it's going to be. The first thing I want to do is I want to put a title block in. We have custom title blocks, we have predefined. So I have F9, look for title blocks. Oh, there's a title block. I'm going to add one. Well, which one do I want? Now, here's a case where we have a dozen, and then we also have a way of making your own. Title block, work record, agency block, St. Lawrence C. We'll try the St. Lawrence C way. French and English. Now here's the thing in HiPack where I enabled it, I checked it, and then I actually have to hit plot it. And every one of these, you can select it, but if it doesn't show up, just remember to hit the little plot button. Plot. Apply. There's my title. Yeah, it's a little bit big. I don't want to use that one. So we'll try a different title block. And how about a smooth sheet? See what happens to that one. And notice a lot of these title blocks are big. And if we don't like it, we can do our own custom title blocks. If we really don't like it, one of the things we could do is if to have a TIFF file, a backup file that has all this information. We can bring in a graphics. So this graphics item, browse, right there. If you had a title block as a graphics, you could just plop it in and do it moment. So there's a lot of ways of putting title blocks in. So what you see is what you get. I can put that title block or that information anywhere I want. Okay. Let's remove that. So I still have to get a title block. I'm going to find one that actually works. Title block. And
Type blocks.
there's a title block. We can go ahead and edit the information there as needed. Well, what else do we want to put on this in this plotting sheet? Maybe we want to compass roads. F9 or the control panel, compass. Again, I got to select the plot the compass. Now notice the compass size is 5. Well, if I apply, 5 is pretty big. I'm going to bring it down to 2. And maybe I'll make the compass color blue. And again, it looks small, but once we zoom in, you're going to be able to see everything in the compass. Anytime you want to zoom in, window control, there's my compass. I want to put a scale bar in, or maybe a ruler.
Ruler.
Plot the ruler. And there's my ruler at the bottom. The north arrow. The north arrow, maybe that one.
Okay. Just follow.
Use the pointer to grab it.
If you try to do yourself, you cannot follow. Follow first.
It's a little big. Maybe we don't want it. If we don't want it at any time, just go back into settings and say, don't plot the north arrow. And we remove it.
So
What about the
say
scale
let
bar?
us practice like that.
Color bar.
Color bar. Color bar. Let me apply. Color bar.
For color.
You know what color bar mean?
I'm going to figure out how to make it a little bit smaller.
Does it mean the color for elevation for the depth?
Oh yeah.
You see the color, you can see depth.
Oh, bit black.
Color bar for the depth.
Like that.
There's a little bit of manipulation that you have to put it out. Finally, you can put your company logo in as graphics. So those are my graphics.
Graphics.
Browse. Projects.
Projects.
JPEG, TIFF, bitmaps. I know it's going to be pretty big, so instead of sizing it, we usually have properties. So go check the properties
Properties.
and make it the right size that you want.
Change the properties. The size.
How about a 3 by 3?
3 by 3.
Maintain aspect ratio.
Okay.
I'm just grabbing it, and there's my title.
That's what this is.
If we zoom in a little bit, we can see exactly what we did.
That's very nice.
We can add notes. So it's one of those things that it's what you see is what you get.
I see what's right.
Now what do we do with it? Well, I can send it straight to the printer. The problem with sending it to the printer, there's my print right there. You have composite and direct. Well, if you have a lot of background shots, you might want to use composite. If you don't, you can use the direct plot.
Right.
Number of pixels dots per inch. 300 is a nice size, but if you have a really big background shot, you might have to go down to 150.
Nice.
I don't have a plotter hooked up, but what I can do is I print it. I'll use direct plot. I have Cube PDF writer on my machine. It's a free shareware. And I'll say print. Printing out. File.
It's quite last.
Now, I'm gonna shut that. The one that I didn't do is a border file,
Border
single,
file.
double border, IHO border.
ISO border.
Again, it depends what kind
Chinese
of,
border.
specifications you
Understanding
have for the
border,
plotting sheet.
resolution border. Many guys
One of the new ones is this is this New York core. We can define different segments, so that the layout is fine, but you can populate different values in it. Again, if you don't like any of these border styles, you can create your own, or you can take it as a background file and bitmap it, which you can just plot it along the side. The moving items, use the arrow to put the focus on, just left click and drag. You're not going to be able to move soundings, but you can move objects, compass rose, title block, color bar, which should be a scale, or text note.
Finish.
Yeah. Printer.
To PDF file.
Right.
We have already printed into PDF format.
About print.
One more time.
Printing.
One more time.
Cube PDF.
Cube PDF.
Supposed to pop up, give me a file name.
Very, very fast.
Very fast.
Already.
This.
One more time. One more time. Cube PDF. Print. Printing. Yes. Ready.
Seems like it's sending to the printer, not in the PDF. But you can make a PDF. The other option we made, if you don't have this PDF, write it. There's an option up there. Print to TIFF.
Print tip.
So it's a TIFF file, not a georeference TIFF. But if you don't have PDF, you can print it to the TIFF, output a TIFF file, TIFF from Whiteblock.
Plot.
And what that looks like,
TIFF.
just a TIFF file.
Uh,
It's a TIFF file. So you can make a TIFF file, you can send it direct to the plotter, you can make a PDF.
what we see is what we get.
We zoom in a little bit,
Oh, yeah,
soundings aren't touching each other. We're trying to measure these sounds and make sure that it's a 15-meter you represent 15 meters based on the scale size.
This last destination.
One of the other things we could do is, we're talking about taking these soundings and making them as an DXF next, and making the contours their DXF. But there's a yellow icon up on top, and that's a DXF output. Export to DXF, so you can put them on different layers. You're not going to have a background file as DXF, you can't. But color bar, ruler, text, block layer. Let's try this and see what happens with DXF.
Line, compass,
Convert
ruler.
DXF from iPlot.
Yes. Plot. Plot.
Depending on how much information is trying to convert. And then we're going to take this DXF and open up in HiPath, just to see that it's actually a real DXF. Right click, add a file, DXF.
Right click.
DXF from HiPlot. Now this is just my DXF file. That thing's a little bit, screwy. The size of the font changed a little bit. But if somebody wanted a DXF file, we can make them a DXF file of the plot sheet. No background file, no side scan. So we can output DXF, output TIFF, send it to the printer, or if you have Qt PDF installed on your computer or Adobe on your machine, you can make a PDF document. There's one thing I did, I'm outside of HiPath or HiPlot. As I brought in this DXF file, I didn't want to take away everything, but I just wanted to see that one DXF file. Up on top, inside the shell, we have layers up here. I can right click and create a view. New view. Disables everything, everything is still in the project, but the view holds nothing. If I just want to show soundings of the difference of file, new cube. There's my cube depth. So if I wanted to see everybody, I can go back to the base and show everyone. So you can easily compare two different levels, two different zoom levels, two different file types. So I had that DXF file, I just wanted to show it as a standalone. I created a level called DXF, and I had just the DXF. The new view had just a new cube, and the base would have everybody that we have on it. So that's up on top, just a quick little shortcut to showing stuff in HiPath. So we got through this plot. We like it. I'm going to save this template. Save template, plot, one, template. Get out of HiPath, save changes, no. Get out completely. We go back into HiPath the next day. We have more plotting to do. We have another data set. You go into plotting sheet editor. I make a brand new plotting sheet. I'll shift it around just a little bit to show that it's different. Save as plot 3. And what the template does is when we put that compass rose in, it had an XY for the compass rose, and it had the image as an XY. So it always was in the right spot. It was always relative to the corner. So what the template does is, okay, plot all these backgrounds relative to the plotting sheet. So go into plotting sheet 3. Load template, plot 1 template. And notice I have all this information in the same spot as the other one. So it's nice to have defined background, defined plotting sheet, and title blocks. There's my title block. The data will come in automatically when you load HiPlot, but it's a background. Drawer, disable all files. If nothing's turned on, go into HiPlot, plot 3, load template, plot 1, and that's what I was trying to show with. The template, not the data, gets transferred over. So you can always have the same information. You're not moving stuff around all the time. So that allows you to make the same plots over and over, just change the data around once in a while. Right click, enable, I just want some soundings. Right click, multi-beam, enable. And I'm good to go. I put spot 10 soundings on, they're going to be too close together. I'm not going to, can't delete data, but I can go into the hammer screwdriver soundings, prevent sounding overwrites, say OK. And now I have my soundings not touching each other. Background. Alright, so as one exercise, let's see if everyone can create a plotting sheet. Put in some information on HiPack, whether it's soundings or a background file, whatever you want. Just put in some information on. In this case, I have my TIFF file and some soundings. But if you want to put in your contours only, go ahead. So load up something in your shell. It doesn't really matter what you have. Just have something there. Once you have it, do the zoom extents, just to show all the information. Now, having the zoom extents, great, but I want to make my plotting sheet outside of it. So we're going to have to go out just a little bit more. So the first icon up there, let's zoom in, zoom out, right click on it a little bit. Not too much, but enough that you can get the surrounding area around it. So you should all have something similar to this. If you don't have any data, you don't know where to put your plotting sheet in. So you have to have some idea. You're not going to put all the data on, but the stuff that you want to try to plot out. And once you have that, select the plotting sheet editor, and that launches that launches a little green box. Enter in a scale factor if you want. Enter in the size of the plotting sheet. So edit, predefine ISO A4, and keep it at 1 to 15,000. With that, file save as +4. So it's my fourth one. Now, HiPlot won't launch unless you have a plotting sheet. So if you try to go HiPlot and didn't do this step, nothing would happen. If you have one plotting sheet, HiPlot launches automatically. If you have more than one, it's going to say, okay, which plotting sheet do you want to use? The plotting sheet is one of the items up here. So you can see all the plot sheets that you've done. 1, 2, 3, 4. A plotting sheet is about 8 characters, 10 characters of information. But it's enough information that HiPAC knows what to do with it. Scaling usually has X, Y coordinate, which is the lower left, the scale, rotation, and anything else that you need. So it's again one of those things that you can create outside of HiPAC. It's just reading in an ASCII file. It's much easier to do within HiPAC. Everyone has that. We'll launch the HiPlot. Everyone had one plot sheet. It should start automatically. If you have more than one, go pick the one that you want. So this is where you get to move stuff around. You can add grid layers, latitude, longitude, easting and northing. Or you can make it a real simple one. You just want to plot out soundings. Enable that. Settings, sounding.
Sounding. Oh.
Make it a little bit smaller. Maybe put a 6 in there, or maybe an 8. And then simple plotter sheet, just soundings. Again, as you plot it out, it probably looks a lot better than on the screen. Sometimes the screen's a little deceiving when things are touching each other. We really have to make a plot. And that's why this output to TIFF or output to PDF, it'll save paper. You're not plotting it out, but you're representing what the data will look like. So try it out. Give yourself a couple minutes, see if you can make a plot sheet and start moving things around.
Enough now. Hanging.
Not responding.
Oh no. Overload. Close. And start again. Yes, close and start again. You also?
Bantu refresh.
Not.
It's not responding. Not responding to anything.
Not responding.
Yeah.
And then I did the file.
Maybe it's scanning.
Can you?
How do they?
I can. I just plotting.
Yes, fine.
Plotting.
Plotting. Plot.
Same as. Same as.
Everyone doing?
No?
Good.
Plot can
Oh,
increase.
well, how did you get it?
Yeah.
Plotting sheet not found.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're using a plotting sheet. That's okay.
Up to you, up to you.
So we usually go zoom extent,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to go out just a little bit because we want to make it work. So we're going to editor, plotting sheet.
Same.
No what?
What?
Yeah, I
What the?
cannot for delete.
Yeah, why can't you delete?
Yeah. Can't delete.
Well, it's not right.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Works on my machine.
The same.
You can't do anything.
Yeah. Can't do anything.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's just. Oh, maybe 10 o'clock. That's it. Editor, plot sheet, plotting sheet. Huh? Everybody else can do it. Can they?
You can. Can't do.
Can you do it? Can you go into that dialog box?
You can.
Yeah.
This is. No.
Yeah, he's okay. He's moving stuff around.
Okay. This now. You can. Okay.
Okay, here we go. I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Aha.
Oh,
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Alright. Plotting sheet editor. Well, all I did was I grabbed the corner and I started moving it, but now it works. Okay. Alright, we want to go. Oh. Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Fine.
My goodness.
Up to you.
What the?
Sometimes you can. They can.
The heck?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, save changes now. Do you have something else going on in the machine? Okay. Nothing's going on.
Same.
Unless this is a leftover program, but if you,
So scale is that 15,000.
plotting sheet.
And paper size for with
Sometimes can.
20,
Okay.
20
Something was
so 58.
115,000. Predefined A4. Whoa. BCL all in library. Haven't seen that error in a long
I
time.
think it's okay.
Save as
And 5.
plot 1. Let's see if we okay, let's see if that one. Let's see if
Okay.
but it's not the best. Alright, so what we can do is F9, you can put a matrix north arrow, plot the north arrow, apply,
Okay.
and then you can grab it and move the north arrow anywhere you want. And let's just put all the data in. Data.
Please type in. Any name?
Window in.
Save.
Okay, there's your data over there.
So here is protein C.
Let's save the template.
Plot.
One.
Plot one.
Your protein C is too
Yeah.
little bit big
Oh.
for your sounding data.
Plotting sheet. Watch this. We do
Your
this.
protein C
Come on.
is prepare new protein
Didn't let me do that. Man.
C. Okay.
Plotting sheet. Okay, I want to move it over there. Save as
Save as
Moving.
plot.
plot.
Two.
Two.
Okay. So into plotting sheet.
And rotate. Rotate is not so.
Plot two.
Plot two.
Load template.
No template.
Okay, so there's nothing.
Plot one.
Yeah, it's just kind of finicky, but the idea is
And save.
if you want to do,
Okay.
okay, so compass
Yes. Your protein
slot the
C.
compass and make it two. It's 5 is 2, yeah.
Outer line.
And then
And
I can't grab it, but if you
can
use
design.
an arrow, then I can put the arrow.
With
And I have X and Y's, if I go
C, but
there
get.
under WGSA, if I want to plot that, projection grid not plot that, and that should change the latitude and longitude.
I want to ask.
Excuse me, sir.
Zoom in, see the numbers. Each 137.
File save as. I want to suspend the scale.
And then if you want to print it, file,
Not that
say
hard,
print to
scale.
TIFF,
Scale is most important
output TIFF,
factor. Okay.
Yeah.
plot,
Plot.
one, TIFF,
Moving.
Yeah.
okay.
Deciding.
See,
Okay.
file, Windows Explorer,
Window Explorer.
and then we do
When moving this
plot
on,
one, TIFF,
I want to set.
and there's my TIFF file. Yeah, I think the machine is just weird. The program works fine, this machine is weird.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, save as. Plot.
Yeah.
Save.
We can see from here. And we got Hi.
Zero data.
No.
What's zero data? Data
Change.
is-
Okay.
Okay. Put in, right click, enable, I want one data in.
Okay.
Background.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then the down is attaching each other.
All right.
Sounding.
Here's your protein sheet. Not right.
Okay.
You should design your protein sheet using the template.
Wow. I see.
Maybe this one. Yeah, it's interesting. In high pack, for instance. If you put your chart on.
Then
Bring it by. I make
this. No, this. This. With Joto.
If it was laid that way, what you would do is say to the data you want, right click.
From there I don't
Bring,
do.
oh, yes. But in high plot, I don't know how to say, bring the data to the front. It doesn't say bring to front, it just enable, not enable. I don't know how to.
And if you prepare the protein sheet,
Maybe you want the compass. Plot the compass.
From there, I don't know anything.
Settings, text, and survey.
Auto. Control panel. Metric. Arrow.
Okay. Selected. Apply. Putting it more like map navigation. Data.
Yeah.
So we like what we see, we like the compass road, maybe we want to.
Color bar. Color bar.
Your
Maybe
data.
we want.
Center.
High-tech logo.
Well, the logo is on my machine, I don't know what the logo is on it. Let's do the road. We like this layout. One more thing.
Template?
Yeah.
You say template? Ah, you template?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to
Title.
check.
Alright, okay. Here's my title section.
You hold the template.
Save the template. Save the. One. Okay. Printed, ready to run, we're done with it. Come back tomorrow, we're gonna do another plotting sheet. Plotting sheet editor. Maybe I wanna do it,
Plotting just.
this section of that.
Plotting.
Give it as
Plotting sheet editor.
one. I have, two. Okay. Whatever's loaded here will show up, so maybe I don't wanna show anything, so I'm gonna just draw, disable file, I'm just gonna basically remove all files. Okay, so there's my plot sheet. I plot. There's no data quite yet.
Hello?
Yeah.
I have a question regarding hyperload template file.
Yeah.
Where is stored folder of hyperload template file?
Where's it stored?
Yeah.
Under templates, it's under HiPack, there's a subdirectory called templates under HiPack 2011. Yeah, under templates.
Template. Okay. This PC has no files.
Templates in it, right? Okay. We're gonna make a template?
Yeah.
We're gonna save the template.
See?
Well, first, the template stage the features like anything but the data. For instance, if I have a compass, lots of compass. And the compass is, you always want the compass in that section. I'm gonna save the
Yo,
template.
why? Go to
Oh.
go for center.
Center.
Hi.
Okay, take it out, save it. Now I have a new plotting sheet.
Your protein sheet is not center.
How to begin for start?
And plotting sheet.
In cross.
Okay, close.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which file do you use?
I want to use JK. I want to
Plot.
plot JK.
Prototype?
Right.
Just one.
Show
Just one.
what we're doing.
Okay.
What
Function, it does,
Plot two,
protein
that's
sheet,
my plotting sheet.
files, open,
JK.
prototype.
Where?
Okay, this is a protein area.
Completely forgot.
Plot one. No matter what plotting sheet is, that compass will always be, and
Resizing.
then I can go go ahead and,
Setting.
yeah, do that.
Excuse me,
Apply. Okay.
I want to set the
You wanna do what?
to set the plotting.
John, go to plotting?
Set the plotting template.
Oh, okay, so we're going
After
to
this, save.
high plot.
This one.
Alright, so let's say,
Yeah,
in our
enough.
template, we have a compass.
Save that. Project.
And we always want the compass in this corner.
Override.
And just go one more thing.
Check.
Title blocks, we're gonna add a type, St. Lawrence Seaway.
Ya está. Yeah.
Right.
So those are fixed objects. If I save the
Not a
template,
private.
maybe
Oh,
I'll
this
just
one
limit
not yet okay.
next time I come in, it's gonna be exactly that. So save the template,
Five rocks.
plot one.
Shadow.
No plot one.
Tropics. Those are all.
So there's my plotting sheet. I wanna make a new plotting sheet.
Yeah.
Plotting sheet editor.
Okay.
Then
Let's say I wanna go
Narrow.
over there.
Then.
Very little data.